Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And the Snow White situation just got so much worse.
Yeah,
so much worse.
It keeps going on.
So we're going to talk about a couple of things in this video. One, we're going to talk about the box office performance being worse than they thought it was going to be. We're going to talk about Rachel Zegler sitting in an empty theater watching the movie. That's
yeah, well, it's possible she rented the theater, but probably not, because she seems like the type she'd want the accolades.
It's possible. And the lead, though, is that the producer of the movie, Mark Platt, went to New York to have a talking to with Rachel Zegler, and now her stands are attacking not just him, but his son on social media.
How dare he go and harass the poor 20-year-old actress who said a lot of shit she shouldn't have said online.
Right. So we're gonna talk about this, and I do believe you're right. We talked about it yesterday or the day before. I can't remember. They all blur together. All these damn Snow White videos blur
every
together.
Day.
I do believe you're right that they are going to institute a hard and fast social media policy going forward, especially if they're working with somebody under the age of 21,
or they don't have the experience or like the track record with other studios to prove that they can keep their mouths shut. Right.
So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you'll get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
Yeah, so this is, we're going to walk it back a little bit for those of you who don't know what led up to this. There was a big story that broke in Variety yesterday that basically Disney sent the producer of the movie to New York to talk to Rachel Zegler after she posted a politically charged take underneath the announcement trailer for Snow White.
Yeah, no, she thanked people for so many people viewing the trailer in like a short amount of time, and she was making this big post like thank you and everything else, and then finished it with Free Palestine. Instead of just saying it like as a separate post or whatever, she tied it into the Snow White thing. And then return, it ended up leading to Gal Gadot having to have security details because she was getting death threats after that. And then I guess they had to get a social media guru for, this idiot for Zegler because she kept talking stupid. And then she just continued to do it. After they told her to shut up, she continued to keep going.
Yeah. So, she said, F Donald Trump. She said, may Trump supporters never know any peace after she got talked to. And this guy's, look, he's a big deal, right? It said that Platt has backed countless other productions, including Wicked, on both stage and screen. So, he's not like some rant, like this is a big deal. Like this guy could make or break your career. And if he actually worked on Wicked on Broadway, that's where she's going is Broadway. I'm sure he could make a few phone calls and be like, hey, yeah, she's a train wreck. Not that anybody would have to call.
Her stands are going on harassing his son.
Yeah. So this is him responding.
Jagan's Junk for sending that to me.
Yeah, Jagan's Junk. So this is getting crazy. So this is somebody harassing him on Instagram. They said your dad flew to New York City to reprimand a young actress.
Who deserved it?
Any words on this? Because that's creepy as hell and uncalled for. No, that is, look, go watch Hail Caesar. I know I keep telling people to go watch this movie. That actually did happen in Hollywood back in the day. They had people that would go around and put fires out before they hit the press. It's a lot easier back then because you only had newspapers and, occasional TV or whatever. But hundreds of millions of dollars are on the line, right?
Yeah.
People have the right to free speech. Shame on your father.
Okay, here's the thing. Back to this person, this idiot. First of all, you don't have a right to free speech when you're signed on for a big production, okay? You can say stuff, and she could have said, if she wanted to say Free Palestine, she still probably would have gotten in trouble for it. But in a post that was not tied to the Snow White situation, okay?
Yeah.
And you know what? Meanwhile, you have Gina Carano, who made a comment about, how everybody's acting like the Holocaust again. And, the reason it happened was because, you hated your neighbor for them to be able to round people up in a post that was completely unrelated to Star Wars. She just posted it on her own personal. Freedom of speech, huh? I bet you're one of the ones cheering on when she got her ass hauled out and because she was called an anti-Semite. Meanwhile, speaking of anti-Semites, I'm just saying, you don't get the right to say that because when you have this job and it's your job to represent something like a film, you aren't allowed to go say stuff like that. And if you do, you sure as hell don't put it on the same post as the, thank you everyone for watching my trailer post. It was colossally stupid. I'm sorry. You can stick it up your ass and cry about it, but it is colossally stupid.
Well, this is what he said, and he's not wrong. We talked about this the other day too. He said, "You want to do this? Yeah, my dad, the producer of an enormous piece of Disney IP with hundreds of millions of dollars on the line, had to leave his family to fly across the country to reprimand this 20-year-old employee for dragging her personal politics into the middle of promoting the movie for which she signed a multi-million-dollar contract to get paid and do publicity for. This is called adult responsibility and accountability."
Well, you're talking to a bunch of children, so what do you expect?
And her actions clearly hurt the film's box office. Yes, free speech does not mean you're allowed to say whatever you want in your private employment without repercussions. Tens of thousands of people worked on that film, and she hijacked the conversation for her own immature desires at the risk of all the colleagues and crew and blue-collar workers who depend on that movie to be successful. Narcissism is not something to be coddled or encouraged. Holy shit.
Good. And you know what?
Holy shit.
He's like,
good.
you know, and what was they kept saying? What was it? Freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom of consequences. Isn't that what y'all kept saying? Isn't it though? And that's what you kept saying about, oh, well, you know, Gina Carano, freedom of speech. Yeah, she had the right to say it, but it's not freedom of consequence. Go Disney for firing her. You know what? Fuck you, because you can't have it both ways. And I'm sorry. She's allowed to have her own opinion. Yes, but she has to choose. Does she want to put her own opinion out there, or does she want to get rehired in Hollywood?
Yeah, well, I don't think she's going to get rehired in Hollywood.
No, I wouldn't touch her with a 10-foot pole, and she deserves everything she gets.
So now they're coming after the producer's son on social media. Hey, I'd love some insight on how any of these posts is considered narcissistic power move to sabotaging an entire cast and crew, while the other is merely an exercise in free speech, free Palestine. Well, she said F Donald Trump, basically F his supporters. Yeah, there's nothing wrong here, Alex. I don't think
it's a job. If you go to your workplace, whoever this dipshit is, they were nice enough to hide their name. If you go to your job, and your job, you know, is to like, we'll say McDonald's. I use that one a lot. And you're going to your McDonald's job, because that's probably where this person's going. And you're going to Miss McDonald's job, and you're in there working. And you're like, you know, on someone's placed their order. And I'd like, you know, double cheeseburger and French fries. And you're like, thank you for coming to McDonald's and ordering your double cheeseburger and French fries. And remember, free Palestine. How long do you think you're going to have a fucking job?
I see your hat is red. F Donald Trump. It's like, right? I mean, this is crazy.
You need PR training? No, he's pretty much right. He was right.
Did your daddy talk to you? Yeah, so they're going on about, they're going to dig up all the dirt on these guys.
They're trying very hard, and it's really, really stupid because they're wrong. They're in the wrong. Rachel Zegler, what she did was dumb, and you have freedom of speech because you can say what you want because you aren't in a position where you have like a multi-million-dollar franchise attached to you and you're taking all kinds of money with the understanding that you're going to do your best to promote this movie and not sabotage the hell out of it. And when you have a hot political, you know, button like that and your co-star is on the opposite side of you because she literally is Israeli, it probably isn't a really good thing to do. Well, and all you did was create people that were boycotting it because of Palestine and because of Israel too.
Yeah, so he does have a personal stake in this. The Platts apparently are Jewish.
Well, I'm sure they are, but I'm just saying, you know, that aside.
Right, I'm just saying, like,
so most of Hollywood, duh.
You know your boss, so you know your boss is Jewish. You know your co-star is Jewish. You know Bob Iger is Jewish. You know, I'm just saying, like, you don't. What's the word? You don't shit where you eat. I mean, you can have your opinions, but just realize that, like, but the thing is, it sounds to me like she signed some kind of an agreement when she took the millions of dollars to say nice things and be positive.
Well, when your job is to be movie, you're not supposed to tank. It's understood. You're not supposed to disparage it. Go back up to that last comment. Go back up to that last comment you had a minute ago. This is the first one. That's real Latina Kennedy. Of course, don't harass anyone. But Daddy had to leave his adult sons alone in their mansion so he could bully a 20-year-old girl into leading her genocides is a bad tweet. Evil-ass cartoon villains of a family. We won't forget this. They're not wrong. And I'm sure the dude went over there because Disney sent him. I'm sure he got called up by Iger and told to handle it.
But it was okay when they hauled Gina Carano into a Zoom
consequences.
Chat to talk. Yeah, that was consequences to talk to a bunch of, you know, trans advocates or whatever the hell was going on there. That was okay, but this is not okay.
How is this? I don't understand. I'm trying to wrap my head around this. She said something stupid, And she was getting out of control because before she did that, she was out there D23 saying really stupid things too. And I'm sure they were watching this and they're like, okay, she's young, we'll let it go the first time. And then she did it again. And then they're like, no, you have to address this. And they had to send somebody a whole way over to take care of the situation. Your boss isn't going to sit there and let you keep talking shit and not do anything about it, okay? He's going to be sent by his boss to handle it. So he got them to handle it, and their evil-ass family, I'm sure he was told he had to go do it. Kindly go fuck yourselves. I'm sure you do it often.
I hope you and your parasite executive father and your uncanny valley untalented brother and your Zio lobbyist mother drops dead. I'm the bad guy. You're a loser. Is that
the person who made the comment initially?
No, this is a different person.
Oh.
Well, unless they have sock puppets. But here's the thing.
Rachel Zegler, a wonderful person.
You do realize that his dad was also behind Wicked too, right? And his dad, you know what I'm saying?
That requires effort to go look into it. They're just too busy screaming their heads off because they're gonna do what they usually do. Get mad about something that they really have no right to be mad about, and then go bully everyone associated with it to try to learn them and to agree with you. Because when you bully the shit out of somebody and you call them names and harass them, that's going to, one, make them change their mind and agree with you, and two, it's going to somehow change the outcome of something that already happened. And the movie still failed. It failed worse than what we were told initially, which we'll talk about in a minute. And this is somehow going to help because we're calling him a nepo baby is going to fix the situation. You were wrong and you were out of line.
Yeah, they're calling him a nepo baby. So here's the thing though, like the fact that he is coming out and saying that Rachel Zegler, he is saying as the son of the producer who I'm sure has conversations with his dad often about the business side of things, as the son of the producer of this movie, he is coming out and saying her actions cost us hundreds of millions of dollars potentially.
Uh-huh. But they're the bad guys because they went and told a 20-year-old to stop speaking out of turn because she kept doing it. It wasn't just about, they keep acting it was only that one comment. That was when they sent somebody out. No. That was after she'd already said a bunch of shit, and she still talks shit afterwards. And she refuses to take stuff down. She never took the comment down. And Disney never made her take the comment down. I'm sure they told her they would like her to. She didn't. So she still got to leave the comment up. Gina Carano got fired over less. And which is giving her more ammunition to kick Disney's ass, by the way.
Yeah, but I think this is this is gonna backfire colossally because they're gonna be like, well, yeah, why didn't you make her scrub her social media? Why didn't you make her grovel? She got to go say F Donald Trump and F Trump supporters and all that stuff after the fact. And she got to, you didn't pull the movie.
Right, I'm just saying, this is just, they needed to handle it. She wouldn't shut her mouth. And there's going about Godot's comments. I don't know what Godot said, but here's the thing. Again, like I said before, if she didn't tie it to the Snow White debacle, they probably would have said nothing to Zegler. Yeah. Gal Gadot's making comments, and she's not tying it to Snow White.
No, and that's the thing. I mean, she responded. What kicked it off initially was she responded to the official promotional post for the movie and made it political. And then after they told her to knock it off, she continued to double down on it.
And they're like, he's a Jewish activist. And I'm like, gosh, which one is it? It's okay to fire Gina Carano because she's anti-Semitic according to her tweet, but we can't fire Zegler for doing the same thing. Which one is it? It's like that meme about with the guy sweating in the two buttons. Please tell me which one it is. Because if one person's it's an outrage and how dare they need to be fired, and the other person it's like how dare they even and they didn't even fire her. They just told her, hey, don't be posting stuff like that tied to Snow White. How dare they?
So I'm gonna tell you right now, like you're not gonna win this one. He's talking to Josh Gad on his podcast about being Jewish. Josh Gad is Disney royalty. Like he is in like Flynn with Disney. You have no idea. So if he's got access to Josh Gad and he's friends with Josh Gad, I guarantee you Bob Iger's not real happy with the situation with Zegler.
No. And the thing is, but the people didn't go to the movie anyway. But I'm sure her behavior did not help. And like I said, she already shot her mouth on a D23. She already had damage there with her comments about the prince and how they're going to change the story. Honestly, I would argue that did far more damage than her Free Palestine comment.
Oh, yeah.
The Free Palestine comment allegedly led to Disney getting fed up, sending someone over to chew her ass out. And they left her leave it up, though. And then telling her that she needed to have a social media person monitoring her for her behavior, which in turn she turned around and told Trump supporters that she hoped they all don't know peace.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but yeah, she's the innocent poor victim. Poor Rachel Zegler.
Poor Rachel
My
Zegler.
ass.
Wasn't her, it was Russian bots.
Oh yes, right? Yes.
No, this is not real, by the way. It's funny though, because I could see this headline being written 10 years ago. Vogue, Disney confirms Russian troll farms at heart of bad Snow White opening weekend. I could totally see that happening.
Well, I'm sure they're joking because they were blaming it on, blue versus red, and they were blaming it on every ridiculous reason under the sun.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, here she is in an empty theater. Now look, like you said, this is, you're not going to send,
if I'm being fair.
Yeah. You're not going to send Rachel Zegler to the matinee showing of Snow White in Chicago at 2:00 on a Saturday, but to be fair, there probably was nobody in that showing at 2:00 on
Yeah,
Saturday.
I know. But I mean,
weekend.
It's also possible she bought the theater out, like to make sure that the one person that was going to come besides her didn't show up. But yeah, I mean, we don't know why the theater's empty, so I don't want to make assumptions. But if it is a troll or an O and it didn't land.
Meanwhile, we've got actual dwarfs.
Oh shit! I didn't see this.
You didn't see this?
No.
Hire real dwarfs. They're mad. He's taking an axe to the Snow White movie sign. I don't know if he actually does it. Hire real dwarfs.
I'm sure he doesn't, but
that's funny.
Was there anybody in the theater?
There's nobody in this theater either. He's got maybe he ran the whole thing out just to do this. Hire real dwarfs. Yeah, they're a little angry. A
little angry. Yeah, okay, so you did there.
I didn't mean it that way. If I was going to go for that, I would say
according to the guy that was in, Pirates of the Caribbean and stuff, there are not enough talented actors with dwarfism to make up the seven dwarfs. They can work together.
Oh yeah, that is one of the worst things you can possibly say. Like, hey man, you got yours, you got to be grumpy, but you think there's only 2 or 3 talented dwarf actors out there. What the hell is wrong with you?
Yep.
They get along. Was it like Peter Dinklage?
That would be that have the caliber. With? Yeah, that are the caliber to do it, and that can do it together or something like that. Yeah.
Well, to be honest though, Peter Dinklage is at a point right now where I don't think, unless they made his dwarf the main character, I don't think he would be interested. Like he doesn't do small roles anymore.
Oh, I don't think so. I mean, why would he?
But that was a joke.
I know. Okay.
But he doesn't. He's got to be the main character. So this is coming from Cosmic Book News. Disney Snow White is on track to lose $200 million. I don't know why they thought that they're like, it's not going to lose that much money, guys. You don't understand how math works. Like if it cost $100 million and it made $100 million, then it broke even.
Well, this article actually this article is actually nicer about it though, because if the budget, they're going by the $500 million to break even. I think it's going to be way more than that because they're saying it's at least $100 million in promotion, not counting the theater cuts. So even if you do the 2 times, and you're believing that the budget was $270 million, I think it's probably higher than that. That means it has to make at least $540 million to break even. If they're thinking by estimates, I was on another site, they're estimating that it might hit $250 million globally, and that's it at the max. And if that's the case, then we're talking like $250 to $300 million loss at the low end.
At the low end, but here's the thing: you will never know exactly what a Disney project costs because they spread the cost around. They hide it. They hide it with they get like grants and all stuff, and it'll come out in like 2 or 3 years. Somebody will have to do some digging and be like, "Oh, Snow White actually costs like $600 million to make." Whoopsie doopsie.
Oh yeah, and they're going to have a bunch of like credits and crap too, from like we filmed it here and got credits and stuff like that.
Would have been cheaper with real dwarfs. I'm just saying, would have been a lot cheaper.
I'm sure it would have been. I think that's why a lot they had to do reshoots and they had to do a bunch of stuff was because of that, and they would have looked a lot better.
Yeah, it's not looking too good. I went to Box Office Mojo, and as of today, 88 million worldwide. Worldwide, they were expecting that opening weekend.
They were expecting 100.
They were expecting more than that. Yeah, more than that opening weekend, just opening weekend. Here we are several days after, and it's still.
Yeah, so the totals came back, and it's about 1 million. What was it, like 1 million point? I forgot what it was. low, or 1.2 or something that low.
Yeah, it's like 40. It wound up being like 42 million. It wasn't even 43, but they kept adjusting it down because I remember back in January, they're like, oh, this thing's easily going to do, even with the controversy, it's easily going to do 60 to 70 million. Easy. And that was like, okay, well, maybe not. Maybe 55 to 60. Okay, maybe 50 to 55. Okay, maybe 45.
I'm waiting. I know, right? I'm waiting to see what the drop off is because I think it's going to be a huge drop off. They're saying at the most it might make 50 million globally this next weekend, but after this next weekend, it's toast.
Minecraft.
Because the Minecraft comes out, and kids are going to want to watch, Minecraft miners and not, dwarf miners.
Yeah, maybe that's what
ERS, not,
Maybe they should have. Oh my God, I'm sure that's a site somewhere in the dark web. Maybe they should have done a mashup and been like, how can we make Snow White relevant for today's audiences? Let's make it Minecraft with the 7 dwarves. We'll make them all blocky. Do a mashup.
But there you go. Yeah. But they already look stupid. No, it wouldn't work. It would not work.
And it's so weird because they had a CGI 7 Dwarfs cartoon that they were working on that they actually canceled, which looked better than this movie.
That's why they canceled it probably because it looked better than the movie. And I mean, they look terrible. The dwarves, I think, are a big part of why the movie failed. And I think Zegler is a big part of why the movie failed. I think that her comments, because even if it was a political thing, the weird, and that she doesn't need no prince, and then they didn't give her prince. It was some thief. Same thing, but now it's a bandit, normal guy. Because that somehow makes it better, but it's the exact same thing. He still kisses her. She married
poor.
You know what I'm saying? No, it's the exact same. It's Flynn Rider at this point.
Yeah, Eugene. It is Flynn Rider. That's what people said. It's Flynn Rider. It's like, no, she gets to make him the prince. She gets
a less charismatic and endearing Flynn Rider.
Yeah, and that was it. Like right out of the gate, people were like, "Oh, you're gonna make a lot of changes to Snow White. That's not good." So even before she got political, just thrashing the original movie the way that she did and saying about how weird it was and how stalker it was and she didn't care for it. And then she turns around when she gets this PR person like, no, I actually love Snow White. Honest to God, Mickey, I love Snow White. I really, really love it. So I wonder if this is why Disney historically puts their kids through the Disney system. Like you start out as a Disney Channel kid and then once we train you, take that as you will.
Okay. They start you as a Disney Channel kid, and once you get trained, to take your pants off, then I wasn't going there. I said take that as you will, but then we will promote you. Look at Zendaya. Then we will promote you into major motion pictures. But the drill. I don't think that's also I don't think the way it should be either because there's a lot of Disney children's stars. I don't think they can carry films.
No, but historically, you look at Disney and they would pull from the Mickey Mouse Club or they would work. Disney worked with Haley Mills all the time. It was because they knew that these kids wouldn't shoot their damn mouths off. It's like they were part of the system. Now, unfortunately, there's a whole dark side to that. Some of these actors, it really got. Oh God, I won't say shafted, but that's probably a poor choice of words. Some of them kind of forgotten by Hollywood and all that. But I'm just saying, when you're dealing with people of a certain age that don't have a lot of experience, you got to clamp down on them.
I don't know if that was the right way to word it either.
You know what I'm saying?
Is there any way to word it?
The guy's not wrong. Hundreds of millions of dollars. Yeah, was this movie ever going to do gangbusters? Hell no. It looks like shit. And it's mid, but it would have done better had she, because people already had their backs up. She set the tone. She set the tone right out of the gate that, this movie's going to be way different and politics, and suck it, chuds.
And now our people are going after the producers.
Yes.
Family.
Yes.
Which I'm like, is not going to endear her even more. You're actually causing, for those people who are like, oh, we're trying to defend Rachel Zegler. I'm going to tell you right now.
Right.
Doing this, you just cost her jobs. So good job, you morons. Because in your effort to go defend her by going after the producer and his family, you likely just made sure she will not be hired again and maybe not even on Broadway.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Yeah, because they're going to be like, we can't hire her because of these damn stands.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we hire her and we, whatever, see also Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller's phone's not ringing these days, is it?
Anyway, and you're not helping. You're just making it worse.
You're making it worse. Are we gonna wrap this up?
Yes.
We got almost a half an hour out of Snow White again. What the hell? This is a gift that keeps on giving.
This keeps every day. Every day.
So thanks for that, I guess, Internet. Thanks for that. So please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.